Eat grapefruits! Fake! Liar! You liar!
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Woo! What a day. I tell you what, it has been one heck of a day. It truly has. I hope you've had a good day. I hope America's treated you well. But I'll tell you what. I don't know what's going on in this world, in America, anywhere anymore. I mean, let's start off with this. Folks, we got, by the way, for the second half of the show, get your questions in. Jolene is in the house. She's watching everything for us. Ooman is out taking care of some other stuff of his. But we, folks, you and I, we got a lot to talk about. It used to be that if you had a problem with the mafia, well, someone in your family could have an appendage removed, or you would have your appendage removed, or someone else's appendage would be mailed to someone to send a message. It's always about communications, folks. Communications, right? If we all just learn to communicate better, we do well. Well, a finger from a living human, I guess, as opposed to a finger off of someone who was already dead. Anyways, a finger was sent through the mail, not a special delivery, not FedEx, not Fed de jour, but it was sent to President Emmanuel Macron, right? The president of France. Someone mailed him a finger. What is the message? Mafia, special delivery. What is the message? I mean, was it a thumb? Hey, nice job, Macron. Was it the middle finger, right? Was it a middle finger? Was it the pinky finger? Oh, I don't know. Anyways, that's what we're devolving to, folks. In America, if you oppose the fruit salad folks, they will mail you white powder so you don't know whether it's cocaine or ricin dust. In fact, I'm very surprised that the White House didn't try blaming the fruit salad people for putting cocaine in the White House to try and, get back at them. Or maybe they thought it was some, who didn't they blame at the White House? Now, we have an update to the story. We have an update, folks. You betcha. Cocaine in the White House? Well, the Secret Service briefed Congress, or at least some congressional members, and Representative Boebert, Republican representative out of the great state of Colorado, she said it wasn't just once, folks, but 3 times the Secret Service has discovered drugs in the White House. 3 times in Biden's White House. What does that mean? Well, we just have to let you know that the investigation concluded. It was concluded that the cocaine found was in a blind spot. That's right, the surveillance cameras couldn't catch the culprit. I'm surprised. I'm stunned. I'm shocked that the Secret Service has a blind spot in the White House. Can you imagine? The most important man in the world, the most powerful man in the world, the President of the United States, has an area in the White House where there's a blind spot. Who would know where the blind spots were so they could hide their stash? 1, I'm not believing it. 2, I'm not believing it. And 3, I'm not buying this shit. But there it is, folks. That's what we get when you have Democrats running amok not just in the White House, but in Congress and across the country. In fact, they have now fully infiltrated corporate America. Are you ready for today's boycott company? You bet. Today, the horse's ass, that's right, the coveted Silver Sphincter Horse's Ass Award goes to a company because they have not learned the most valuable lesson that's out there. And that's, if you do stupid shit like this, you're gonna get boycotted. That's right. So the coveted, beloved, sought after Horse's Ass Silver Sphincter Award goes to a Maybelline partner. That's right. Ryan Veit or Ryan Veet. Boycott them and boycott Maybelline because they decided to kick off a huge advertising campaign with bearded men. And we're talking big, full, macho beards. And they're putting curlers in their shit and makeup all over their faces. Oh, it's beautiful. And social media, folks, exploded in response. And here is one quote. "What the hell are you?" I'm telling you, they didn't look and see the absolute calamity that Budweiser has suffered as a consequence. The absolute calamity, destruction, just unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. But believe it, it is real. You bet. Another company wants to bite the dust. Help them out, folks. Boycott Maybelline, boycott Ryan Veet. Do it. Folks, we're winning. We're winning, and the left, well, they're not giving up. They will not go away, but they're falling in stature. In fact, their leader, fearless dictator Biden, the faller in chief, guess what happened today? He stumbled yet again getting on Air Force One. Even though he's using the little staircase, not the big one, but the little one, he still managed to trip. It's, I think, symbolic. It's symbolic, folks, of the fall of the American empire, the American republic. It's falling. It's stumbling. And it's being shown to us through none other than Joe Biden himself. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Joe Biden falls. America's falling. You and I have to keep fighting, though, folks. We really do. We need to keep fighting big time. Big time. It's time for the talk to stop. And it's time to start prepping to action. You guys have been doing fantastic. Again, Senator Grassley needs our support. And Jim Jordan, he needs our support as well, right? So Senator Grassley is asking the FBI, where are the files? Where are the tapes? Where are the videos? Where's the information? The 17 separate instances which Hunter Biden is supposedly admitted to crimes, right? There it is, right? It's time to stop talking and start taking action. Now, Senator Grassley's in the Senate. Representative Jim Jordan is in the House of Representatives. And he supports the idea of moving the Federal Bureau of Lies, the FBI, out of Washington, D.C. This has been panned. I don't want to use the word panned. It's been expressed that they should move them to another city like Atlanta. I don't think they should go to Atlanta. Number one, yes, get them out of Washington, D.C. Take them away from the hub of power. Now, I understand with jets and instant communications, you can do business from anywhere on the planet. I was able to talk to you guys while I was at the RMZ in a faraway jungle. I was able to communicate instantaneously with you guys. Now, Where should we move the FBI headquarters to? How about Lovelock, Nevada, out in the middle of nowhere? How about they buy some property from the Navajo Nation out in the middle of nowhere? How about if they move FBI headquarters to a very secure location where nobody could get to it? They should put them up in Alaska, in the middle of the tundra. I think that's where they should go. You want to be in the FBI, you want to serve your country, you go to Alaska, because then we can count on only the most patriotic people wanting to go there and work. Right? It's time for the bullshit to stop with these people. It's time. I guess Jim Jordan suggested Alabama. I don't want them to be in the South. I don't want them anywhere near me, in fact. That's just too damn close for my liking. Ooh, that's too close for me. Seriously, too close. Let's send them to Alaska or the Antarctica. I've had it with these people. They're absolute scum. In fact, folks, Representative Hagman, she's the one who replaced Liz Piggy. And she essentially, folks, condemned him and made him look like an absolute moron. Oh, Christopher Wray, director of the FBI. It's been revealed that the FBI has been, working with social media for years. Well, it all came out. She really let him have it. The Wyoming representative, folks, she whacked the shit out of this guy. Now, here's what she said. Quote, here's what I would say. This committee has learned that the FBI acted to, quote, discredit leaked information about Hunter Biden before and after it was published. That, quote, Twitter's contact with the FBI was constant and pervasive as if it were a subsidiary, and that, quote, a surprising high number of requests by the FBI for Twitter to take action on election misinformation, even involving joke tweets from low follower accounts. Are you aware that that has been reported? Well, Chris Wray, director of the FBI, he says, I'm aware of some of what the committee has found in its report, but I will add that I'm not sure I agree with the findings. Of course the prick wouldn't agree with the findings. Well, Representative Hagman continued, said, but that's what we found. Director Wray, you and I both know that the federal government is forbidden from doing indirectly what it cannot do directly. In other words, neither you nor the FBI have any legal authority to circumvent the First Amendment by using a surrogate to do your dirty work. Aha! Yet that is exactly what you have been doing. Now, she continues, forbidden. Chris says, again, I don't agree with your description of our engagement with social media companies. You should have zero engagement with social media companies. You scumbag, right? It's just, it's disgusting, folks. The federal government has disgusted me. There is nothing redeeming or valuable that comes from them. I'm going to give you an example. There was a criminal. He racially insulted and then assaulted the owner of a pub in Washington, D.C. That's federal territory. Washington, D.C. is not a state. He did this, folks, in front of the 4-year-old son of the pub owner, the tavern owner. And the U.S. attorney gave him a chicken shit plea deal. That's the federal government. They don't want to hold criminals accountable, yet they want to hold you, the free man, the free citizen, They want to hold you to account for crimes you haven't committed. Are you ready for this to get stupid, folks? Well, trust me, it's going to. I hope you've got your questions down below. We've got Uman is now in the house. I'm sure he's letting you have it in the comment section, all you jokers out there. I hope you're having fun with that. I want to continue, right? No. Let's not do that. There's a story there I just don't want to touch. Don't want to touch that one. We're going to keep on going here. I want to recommend people check out the SGT report. There's an interview there with the attorney Tom Renz. I want to thank Mr. Skylight for sending that through to me. Go to bitshoot.com, folks, and there is a description of what is going on. Some things I just can't talk about. But on BitChute, folks, all videos are allowed over there. But I'm going to leave it to Tom Renz to explain what is going on. What is going on? Unbelievable. I want to take you back to Washington, D.C., though. Folks, it's important to understand what our country is. The reason the FBI cannot do whatever they want, whenever they want, everywhere they want, is they're limited. They are actually limited to operating. They are restrained from operating outside of jurisdictions where the government, the federal government, does not exercise exclusive jurisdiction. So the FBI cannot go and arrest you for doing something inside of a state. They like to believe that federal crimes are something that they can come and get you on. Right? So you've got to break a federal law, or you have to commit a crime in a federal territory. Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, forts, bases, arsenals, dockyards, magazines, etc. So Guam, the Virgin Islands, like I said, Puerto Rico. There's very few places where they can do whatever the hell they want, which is why everyone who was arrested by the police, the Washington, D.C. piece, the FBI, was because they went to Washington, D.C., and they were accused of trespassing and parading, while the mainstream media called it insurrection. I did not know that a parade was insurrection. I did not know that trespassing was insurrection. But this is how lawless our federal government is. That if you commit any crime, trespassing, were those people given a warning to leave? Well, it doesn't matter, because the law doesn't matter in Washington, D.C. Those people were held without charges. They were denied legal representation. They were denied arraignment. They were denied court trial. They were denied due process. They're denied medical help. They're denied good food, quality food, safe place, sanitary jail conditions. They were abused. They were tortured. They were beaten. There is no exemption inside, folks, inside a free state for these people to operate. That's why they had to do what they did in Washington, D.C. That's why Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, is where they take, well, prisoners of foreign wars, right? If we have a conflict in Afghanistan or Iraq, or someone's captured coming across the border in Korea, they can take them there where there are no human rights being observed. Now, I know the United Nations seems to have some sway there, but where was the United Nations to help American citizens in Washington, D.C.? From all accounts, the things that were being done to them up there, folks, in Washington, D.C., in the D.C. Gulag, violated United Nations torture rules. In other words, yeah, they were being tortured psychologically, and some of them physically, according to the reports. DC is a lawless place, folks. lawless. The only law there is the law of the jungle. Now, Washington, D.C., the Metropolitan Police Department now is hiring non-citizens. That's right, non-citizens can get a job. They can be hired as police officers in Washington, D.C. You want to talk about lawless? Non-citizens, folks, have not demonstrated through testing and education that they understand the United States Constitution, our culture, our traditions, our way of life, our history. Nothing. They're required to know none of that. All they have to know is they've passed whatever law enforcement class that's required, which is probably nothing. How to use a radio, how to use a gun, and how to use a billy club over someone's head. This is what this country is devolving into. And thankfully, the federal government cannot operate outside of Washington, D.C., forts, arsenals, and dockyards, military bases. Right? Guantanamo Bay, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Guam, Marianas Islands, and other bases around the world. That's the only place they can operate with impunity. Right? That's where they can operate without respecting the law. That is what Washington, D.C. and these scumbags, folks, truly think of us. Except in our states where we live as free people, they can't just come and arrest us because they don't like us. That's why I've told you again and again, I don't think I'm going to let anyone arrest me. No, it's not going to happen because I know what will happen. They will transfer me to one of their gulags where they don't have to respect the Constitution and respect my rights. The government truly is lawless. And thank God for the Constitution and people like you who are holding them to account. It's that bad, folks. I don't have to exaggerate or grossly exaggerate anything. Anything. This is what we've got, folks. Now, outside of Washington, D.C., if you want to find horrific behavior, you just have to find, folks, the nearest Democrat and start antagonizing him. I mean, this is interesting. This is a mystery, folks. In Tennessee, a surgeon, a doctor, went into an examination room, and the man in the examination room killed him with a gun. And they're saying, well, we don't know what the motive is. I'm wondering, is the motive truly unknown, or is this the consequence of woke thinking? Now, once again, what does woke do, folks? Woke attacks normal. Woke insults normal. Woke violates normal tradition, normal social standards, normal morality. Right? We just today, Maybelline and one of their subsidiary partners has decided to insult and piss off America with their bearded man makeup gallery. That's what woke does. It provokes and tries to piss people off. Our response shouldn't be violence, of course. Our response should be boycotting them. But this man shoots a doctor. So is it just a random act of violence, or was woke involved? I would like to know, did the man, right, was he going after a Republican doctor, and he had to work his way in, get an appointment, right, have something wrong with him, schedule a visit with the doctor, get all the way to the examination room, and then murder this guy because he was a woke lunatic and he wanted to take out this doctor? Or was the man simply there, sick, not well, and the doctor asked him what his pronoun was? Maybe the doctor insulted him in some other woke manner, chastised him, attacked him, psychologically with one of his Tess? I don't know. But I'm going to start asking this question, folks, as we look at more people, keeling over from the Jim Jones juice. In fact, the meme went around the other day, and I sent it back out as best I could, right? Oh, these flies are dropping like athletes, showed a bunch of dead flies. Yeah. The old thing was, dropping dead like flies. And now it's dropping dead like athletes. We've got that going on. We've got these woke tards. We've got woke corporations. We got the woke government. In fact, John F. Kerry was insulting the planet again, discussing private airplanes, private jets. Unbelievable. But we're fighting back, you and I, America. We're one, getting prepared, and two, taking action. Prep to action. Keep doing it. Share this internet address up here. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. Be sure you've hit the subscribe button. Stay subscribed. And then also hit the notification bell. Ding, ding, ding. Folks, we're winning in a lot of ways. A lot of ways. In Texas, a school board has taken some action. Now, this is interesting. We have school boards taking action all the time, and we're not always happy about it. You tell me if we should applaud this. In Texas, a school board has rejected the attempt to allow boys into the girls' choir. Well, I read this, and the first thing I thought was good. We need more of this. We need more school boards rejecting the call for boys to be allowed into girls' activities. Right? Boys have penises, girls have vaginas. You don't have a choice on this. You want to wear makeup? Fine. You want to wear someone else's clothes? You're a cross-dresser. You want to pretend like you're someone else? Well, you've got gender dysphoria, and it's a mental disorder. Those are facts. But here's the deal, folks. There was a time, right? If you were a boy and someone called you a sissy or a girl, insinuated that you were feminine, it was an insult. It was an insult that would be followed by another insult right back at whoever put it out there. More than likely, insults to the person's mother would be following that as well. Right? This idea that boys would play with girls in a competitive manner is ridiculous. It was considered ridiculous. No male, no man would ever do that because there's an unfair advantage, and we all know it. We all live with it. We all understand it. But Leah Thomas, I mean, the guy, it's not a girl, it's a man, competing against women in college level swimming, right? He's just crushing all the records because he's not a girl. He's not a woman. Just unbelievable. By the way, I want to remind everyone that, yeah, it was exposed that he was exposing himself to women in the locker room, making them all very uncomfortable, wagging his weenie at them, allegedly, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have film footage to show you, and if I did, I wouldn't. But just because you tuck your weenie between your legs like the fruitcake in the movie Silence of the Lambs does not make you a woman. And once again, I'm surprised. I'm still surprised that Silence of the Lambs hasn't been edited to remove Mr. Fruit Salad for tucking his weenie and dancing in front of the camera. It was really just a weird fucking scene. The guy, let's see, let's talk about the fictional character. And you tell me if it's a believable fictional character or an unbelievable fictional character, Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. Let's see. He was mentally disturbed, and so he saw Dr. Hannibal Lecter as a patient. As a patient, he saw Dr. Hannibal Lecter. This is, of course, before Hannibal Lecter was locked up for being Hannibal the Cannibal. So I wonder if Dr. Lecter helped screw his brain up some more. Anyways, so Buffalo Bill, the bad guy from the movie, had some gender dysphoria, some confusion about who he was. There was something really wrong with his brain. And in the movie, he began to act out psychotically, violently. He began to kidnap and murder women. And his symbol was the moth, right? The death's head moth. And he would place a caterpillar, one of these moths, while it was in cocoon larvae stage, in the victim's mouths and throw them away, right? And he would dress as a woman and wear makeup and just do disgusting, weird things in this movie. Now, the point is he became a violent, murderous person. Do we see and have any evidence today that people with gender dysphoria have mental problems, that they have become violent, that they have become, well, a menace to themselves and society? The answer is yeah. Seriously, folks, seriously. These people out here, the ones that have committed crimes, various murder and mass murder, they're not healthy. No, not a bit. All right, let's do this. Let us do this. Let's go to the inner circle. And we're going to ask John live. And we're back. We have lots of comments, lots of questions, lots of thoughts. Let's get to it. Jolene, who wants to step on board the brain train and talk about what's going on in the prepared mind? We've got Mick in the UK. How you doing there, Mick? He says, hi, John. There are temperature problems in Europe, with some countries hitting almost 50 degrees. Is this where Gil Bates introduced his sun dimming program to save the world? I tell you, sun dimming program. That's right, folks. They want to help us out. They want to use human technology to affect the weather. I say no. There is absolutely no need for it. And here is the evidence I'm going to use that suggests not only are these fruitcakes and dingbats wrong, but they're way wrong. It is warmer today than it was 6 months ago, because 6 months ago was winter. It's warmer today than in some years. But here's the deal, Mick. Back, I think, 1,000 years ago in jolly old England, they were able to grow grapes year-round. Grapes lived in England. It was that hot. It was so hot that Greenland, which is today covered in ice, it was green. That's why I got the name Greenland. It was Greenland, because all the ice was melted. Folks, they've discovered, as it's gotten somewhat warmer, they've discovered in Greenland, guess what? Buildings. Once built and occupied by the Vikings. The Vikings sailed, folks, south into Europe and plundered. They sailed east into Russia and plundered. And they sailed west over to Greenland and then down into North America. But it was warm enough that up there they did very well. So they had colonies, if you will, in Greenland, because it was so hot there that, yeah, you could graze sheep. You could have livestock. So yeah, Mick, it's hot. It's hot. But is it that hot? Is this the fault of humanity? And by playing with the weather, people like Gil Bates and the U.S. government and others, by doing weather modification experiments, are they actually helping, or are they interfering with nature's natural cycle? Isn't it funny how nature and natural are the same word? There are natural cycles. There's ebbs and flows. It was warm enough to have grapes year-round in England back 1,000 years ago. Then we went into what was called the Little Ice Age, where the Thames River even froze over in 1666. Or was that the Big Fire? It was right in there, right in there. Anyways, and now it's warming up again. Well, that's terrible. It's getting warmer. Folks, the world is full of fat, soft human beings who don't like to be hot. Hell, I don't like to be over hot. But that's what life is about, right? Dealing with shit. Well, oh, by the way, Joe Biden, he doesn't want you to be comfortable. Remember, they want to take away your food. They want to take away your fuel. That's right. They want you to pay higher prices. They want you to pay huge taxes for climate change and to pay for representative shitball former Senator John Kerry, right? They want you to be poor, have nothing, and like it. In fact, they're now going to start cutting back on air conditioning. The federal government is going to start restricting air conditioning. They've really overstepped their bounds, folks. The federal government has lost its fucking mind. Obamacare, open border, killing the Keystone Pipeline, destroying oil production offshore in Alaska, etc. And now they want to take away your air conditioning. What is wrong with these people? I'll tell you what's wrong with them. They're fucking evil. That's all there is to it. They're plain old evil. Even Satan's like, whoa, you're taking their air conditioning? That's not very nice. Wow. Okay, Jolene, who's up next? We have the Village Idiot. I tell you, you've got no shame, man. He says, I sent you a pic of my fortune cookie last night. It says, quote, luck favors the prepared mind. That's awesome. That's awesome. Chance, luck, same thing. Same thing. That's interesting. I'm glad you got that, Village Idiot. I wonder, did you instantly think of the network of the channel? Right? Is that an ancient Chinese proverb? I'm sure it is, folks. It's also a bit of just common sense that's made available to us through, right, something that seems almost axiomatic. Chance, luck, good fortune favors the prepared mind. Thank you very much for sharing that. That's great to hear. I'm glad the fortune cookies are out there on our side. All right, let us continue if we shall. We're going to go to Jane Dixon, who's become a regular contributor, and you too can be a regular contributor, folks. If you go to thepreparedmind.club and sign up as a premium member. Premium member, you ask? Yeah, premium member, $2 a month. It works out to an entire 7 pennies a day. And that helps support this channel. It does. It does. We've got software to pay for. We've got hardware to pay for. And man, he needs a new tinfoil hat. He does. And that tinfoil is getting mighty expensive anyways. You guys have been great. We're getting more subscribers all the time, and I want to thank you for it. Jane says, hey, someone told me a microwave oven makes a great anti-electromagnetic pulse device. Not sure myself. Well, the best way to test this is to put your phone in the microwave and then set off an EMP above your house and see how that works. That's the trick, folks. That's the hard part, is we don't have an EMP test. So we have to trust the makers of such devices that have anti-EMP bags, Faraday cages. It's hard to test because we don't know how strong whatever it is going to hit us. You know, is wrapping something in a towel, then aluminum foil, then another towel, then aluminum foil, is that enough? And then grounding it so that, it doesn't do any damage. Now, a microwave oven, folks, is not a Faraday cage, to my knowledge. Perhaps it is, and I'm just wrong. Someone correct me, please. But the microwave oven has shielding on the outside of it, outside of the cooking area, that is to say. And what that's designed to do is stop and trap microwaves. microwaves, not electromagnetic pulse. So I would do more research, Jane, and certainly do not put your phone in there and test it to see if it can stand up to microwave radiation. I would not recommend putting a phone or anything metallic or electronic in a microwave. It could cause bad things to happen. In fact, I'm sure there's a tall tale, a fable out there somewhere that if you put your phone in the microwave and turn it on for 5 minutes, it creates an electromagnetic pulse once it explodes. I'm sure there's all kinds of stories out there. Do no such thing, folks. Don't do it. Don't do it. Testing it, I think, would be a great thing. Testing a company, if they could test electromagnetic waves, show how strong they are, and say, this is what, right, a coronal mass ejection, a larger one, would cause, and then test their product. I don't think there's an Underwriter Laboratories test, a UL listed test for EMP. Would be nice, but I don't think we're there. Not quite, not yet. All right, Uman, Jolene, where do we want to roll next? Hey, we got Vincent Boyle, folks. Vincent's from Ireland. We had Mick from the UK. It's definitely an Anglo-American connection on the Prepared Mind today. And as a reminder, for people new to the audience, this channel, the Prepared Mind, is an international channel. We go around the world. That's right, around the world, folks. The sun never sets on the Prepared Mind Network. So here's a quote from Vincent Boyle. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. And that was Albert Camus who said that. I have never heard of Albert Camus. But if he said the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Oh, it's noticeable. It is absolutely noticeable. Let me give you some examples. During the Cerveza Bug lockdown, if you wanted to show yourself and the world how absolutely free you were, all you had to do was take the mask off of your face. Take your mask off of your face, and the world would see your act of rebellion. And that was the proper thing to do. It was not dangerous. It was not harmful. Nobody got hurt. But it showed the world, folks, you're unfree. You may think you're free, but you're not, right? So an unfree world, folks, learned a lesson real quick, that they weren't free at all. The fact that everyone wants to live under the delusion that they're free when they're not. Now, I am free here, but is my body restrained by government? The answer is yes, right? I cannot drive faster than the posted speed limit. I'm not free to do that because that's considered unsafe. You know what I consider to be unsafe? The Jim Jones juice. But how come the government doesn't stop that? Well, because it serves their agenda. Everything, folks, in our world that seeks to control you, limit you, is for the benefit of government. Name one thing now that benefits other people that the government does. I don't know. What does the government do? How do they limit your freedom and that helps others? That's right. There's really nothing. Nothing that couldn't be settled in other ways. Let's just say, for example, that you had hand grenades, real live hand grenades. And I don't want anyone to go get real live hand grenades because it's illegal. But if anyone was hurt by the hand grenades that you had, you would be liable, responsible for it. You see, that's a world where responsibility is up to the free people. But in our world, we're not allowed fully automatic M16s, nor are we allowed hand grenades. So consequently, yeah, we can't cause any trouble. But I want to ask you this. What is it that the government, the US government and other European governments are doing? They're giving hand grenades and rocket launchers. They're giving drones and bullets and howitzers, folks, cannons and artillery shells with high explosive tips. They're giving those to people and they're selling them into the black market. I'm going to ask you a question now. I want you to think of France. The country of France is burning right now. Areas of it are burning because of riots and protests. Do you think those weapons that were given to Ukraine, that found their way into, well, the hands of arms dealers, do you think those weapons have found their way into France, Italy, Spain, Germany, Portugal, England? Yeah, odds are that those weapons are being distributed amongst those un-European immigrants. It's rather frightening to think, folks, that there are people amongst us who our government gives incredible weapons to, but we're not allowed. That's how it works. That's how it works. Weapons for thee, but not for me. That's right. Crazy stuff. Okay, let's do this. Let's check in with you and see what you want to talk about. It's Chin Music. And he says, hey, the FBI is not an intelligence agency. Why does anything they report need to be redacted at all? Oh, well, there you go, Chin Music. Asking intelligent questions again, are you? You're just going to have to stop that. Stop making people think. Stop making people think for themselves and asking intelligent questions. That when you think about the proper answer, you realize exactly how corrupt and rotten government is to the core, right? The FBI is not an intelligence agency. It's a law enforcement agency. The information that it has can only be considered investigatory in a criminal nature. It need not be secret, classified. Now, I love how law enforcement at the federal level, at the state level, at the local level, the police say, well, it's an ongoing investigation. Therefore, we can't talk about it. Well, if that's the case, if you cannot supply Congress with the information it demands, then you're telling me that Hunter Biden is still under investigation for cocaine, that Hunter Biden is still under investigation for crack, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, graft, bribery, theft, extortion, selling U.S. secrets, government secrets, acting as a middleman between Chinese government corporations and the rest of the Biden cartel. Because if they can't produce a piece of paper that isn't redacted, then that means those investigations are still open because they're not allowed to tell us. They're not allowed to supply information. Okay, well, if the investigations are still going, where are you at with them? I guess you don't have to tell us, Mr. FB Liars. You don't have to tell us what the exact crime that's being investigated is, but I think, right, some information could be forthcoming. Right, while they can't give you the specific information about Hunter Biden's alleged sex trafficking involvement, perhaps the FBI could say, well, we can't give you specifics, but we can tell you that Hunter Biden is being investigated for sex trafficking, human trafficking, prostitution, drug usage, drug sales, etc. They may not have to tell us the exact specifics, but they could tell us some things general. Much like we knew long before Trump was arrested that they were going to arrest him, they started leaking it. They started telling it. Well, President Trump is likely to be arrested in the next few days over, well, that's right, they let in that information. secret documents that they found and came and got in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. They gave us information that was going on. They let the cat out of the bag. They didn't give us all of what was on the documents, which is presumably secret, top secret, right? Nothing needs to be redacted, Chin Music, unless the investigations are ongoing, active. So either it's case closed or the case is open. If the case is open, when are you going to present the information you've collected to a grand jury or to a prosecutor or to a judge? Basically, Chin Music, you and I and the rest of us know that the FBI is full of shit. I call bullshit on everything Chris Wray said. If you want to hear what bullshit sounds like, listen to Chris Wray. If you want to know when Chris Wray is lying, it's when his mouth is moving. If you see this on Chris Wray, that means he's lying. I wonder what his wife thinks of him. Is he married? Does he have a wife? I wonder if his wife looks at him and goes, I don't trust a fucking word you say, because all you do is lie all day long. Okay, let us move on if we shall. We go to Uman. Uman wants to step up. He's got something to say. He said, non-citizen law enforcement sounds a lot like setting the stage for blue helmets, but without the blue helmets. Hell, why not with blue helmets, Uman? That's right. By blue helmets, he means UN peacekeepers. That's right. See, we're taking these progressive steps, and liberal Democrat socialists love progressive steps. That's why they call themselves progressive, because they progressively get there. But I think it's by being morally regressive that they become more progressive. So, blue helmets, they're not United States citizens. No, they're United Nations soldiers, United Nations agents. Well, if non-American citizens can become law enforcement in Washington, D.C., then why not contract with the United Nations for them to send their blue-helmeted morons into our country? They're also known for theft, murder, rape, and human trafficking as well. That's right, the United Nations. Because of that, and it is both well-known, long-standing, and pervasive, why should the United States of America, our country, be supporting the United Nations financially, with equipment, and why should we follow their shitball rules, right, that can only be introduced to America via treaty? And that treaty, as far as I'm concerned, is still subject to constitutional limitations and restrictions, and that needs to be tried in a court of law. You can only have one law, folks. You can't have two. You can't serve two masters at once if they contradict each other. So who is the master? What is the law of this nation? The United States Constitution, right? The Constitution for these United States? Or is it the United Nations and their bullshit rules? I don't remember any American representatives that the people have elected being put in the United Nations. It's a sham. It truly is. Great topic, Uman. Thank you for bringing that up. And moving forward, moving on, we've got Chin Music back. And he says, doctors and journalists will be dealing with increasing levels of anger as the truth hits the mainstream. You know what's incredible, folks, is doctors and lawyers lie. Doctors and journalists lie. Lawyers and journalists lie. Doctors, lawyers, and journalists are now liars. They joined the politicians and the bureaucrats in the world of lying. And because they have all lied so well, so pervasively, so progressively, and for so long, that yes, anger. That is why they can't let the truth come out, folks. They must lie and continue to lie. Can you imagine this, Chin? Imagine if you told a lie 20 years ago, and it was so bad that you could never admit it. It's so bad that you forbid anyone to even talk about it. But this lie caused people to take action. That action cost people money, time, effort, materials, and even their lives. People died because of your lie. The lie you told that you had to continue to tell. And it was so bad that you could never admit it. That's what the cerveza bug is, and the Jim Jones juice. They are lies that are so bad that the people who told those lies would be responsible for all of the pain, suffering, loss, and death that they caused. That is genuinely where these doctors are at. Half of these doctors out here, folks, are Democrats, and they sucked up and lied to their patients. Their Hippocratic oath to do no harm to their patients, they violated. Journalists were supposed to have journalistic integrity. Well, if that's their badge of honor, it's got shit on it. People should be angry at their doctors and at journalists, and they should be held accountable to the public every bit as much as bureaucrats and politicians. I really believe that. Thank you so much, Chin Music, again, for all your great support of the channel and for making me laugh, continuing to laugh. All righty. Are we at the end of it? I know we're getting close to the end of the show. I've got a couple more things I want to talk about, but we've got 1 hour. And now Michael Brown has stepped into the room, and he says, John, lead sheetrock, which is expensive, in sandbags, but 6 feet thickness of dirt will protect against an EMP. Now, folks, I don't want to let too much information out about Michael Brown, but he is an expert. He's an expert in a certain very specific field. So I'm going to take his word for it. Leaded sheetrock is used in and around x-ray rooms in hospitals, and it's used to stop x-rays, which are a very, dangerous form of extranatural radiation. The sun emits x-rays, but our Van Allen radiation belts and the atmosphere protect us from x-rays. It dilutes and misdirects them, leads them away. Kind of like the media misdirects and misleads us. Still, we produce x-rays with our equipment, and lead sheetrock. Very expensive, but effective. You could probably build a safe room in your home. You could do the ceiling in leaded drywall or leaded sheetrock. You could do the walls. You could even line the door with it. And that may be a very good, shall we say, safe room. Not safe, folks, from insulting remarks made against fruit salad people. Right? There's no safe room for that. Those people, all of them, should be exposed to, ridicule and condemnation. Not for being who and what they are, but for trying to make us accept their lies as fact and ignoring truth and true science. They're sick. They're sick in the frickin' head. Right? They don't got both oars in the water. They're kind of fucked up in the head. And I don't have to believe it. I don't have to live their lie with them. Right? There's no safe room for that. That's why they're trying to convince you to accept them so they can come out of not their safe rooms, but their rubber rooms, their padded cells, and start dealing with reality. Folks, it has been one heck of a great show. Thank you for coming back. Tomorrow is going to be the Friday free-for-all. And hopefully I can sleep in till 0 dark 30, where I'll get up and once again come to you before the sun comes up with ideas that most won't even consider until the next day when the sun goes down. Because that's how far ahead of the curve you and I are. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Even the fortune cookies know it. So do all you can. Get prepared. Semper Fi. God bless America.